أهلا بكم أعزائي المشاهدين في حلقة هذا الأسبوع من القراءة مع حلا. حلا اليوم أهلا، كيفك؟
السلام عليكم، كويسة الحمد لله.
إيش القصة اللي اخترتي لنا إياها اليوم؟
ممكن أحكي بالإنجليزي لو سمحت.
مهم.
Today I brought along one of my own short stories to read. Um, so yeah, it's called Violet.
Okay, take it over.
Miss Harper is laying down on her couch with her husband, Mr. Harper. She starts panting hard. Her husband quickly grabs a bag, then helps her up. They rush to their car, drive to their village's hospital. 48 hours later, a beautiful baby with emerald green eyes was born. Violet. I'll name her Violet, sniffled Miss Harper. That's a beautiful name, agrees the doctor. Over the years, to her parents' surprise, she started growing dark purple hair. Violet had trouble making friends because of her hair and eyes, but her parents accepted her for who she was. One special day, the Harper family were sitting at their dinner table, enjoying a yummy apple pie. Violet had just turned 12, and they were celebrating. Suddenly, Violet's eyes started to glow, and her hair started to flow over her head. The whole house started vibrating, and her parents were screaming. After a minute of this, Violet's hair and eyes returned to their normal state, and the house stopped vibrating. What just happened? Violet questioned. It had occurred to everyone that Violet had powers, but they still had so many questions. A couple months later, the same thing happened. When Violet turned 13, the slip seemed almost normal. Violet started trying to learn how to control her magic. She then started cursing people with bad luck and teleporting things to her room. When she turned 15, her parents called her to their kitchen to talk. Violet, we know you love using magic, but you aren't being very responsible with your abilities. You're using it to your advantage, and that's not safe, lectured her mother. Yes, your mother's right. Imagine if a person found out. They would take you to the same place they took Adam. Mr. Harper stopped himself and bit his lip. Who's Adam? Asked Violet. Never mind. Anyways, as your parents, we now ground you from using magic. Violet sad blurted. What? Violet yelled. Everyone was quiet for a while after that. Violet stomped up to her room and slammed the door. She cried for hours and hours and hours. It had been about 10 months after Violet's parents grounded her from using magic when she decided to use it in secret. So when her parents left for work, she snuck out of the house and went behind the village school. You see, it was easy for Violet to sneak out since her parents left for work every morning and she was an only child. Or at least, she thought she was. She took a deep breath and then her eyes started to glow and her hair started flowing over her head. Violet was more powerful than ever. Then, a middle-aged woman who works at the local factory saw Violet and gasped. Violet quickly snapped out of it and stared at the woman, afraid. The woman ran back to her house and Violet snuck back in. Word got around quickly, and soon the whole village was talking about the girl with powers. Villagers signed petitions, and Violet's parents lectured her non-stop. One day, Violet woke up from someone slamming on the door. Can someone get the door, please? Violet yelled. Violet heard the door opening. Then she heard some arguing and some crying. Eventually, she went downstairs to see the police standing at her door. It's her! It's her! They exclaimed. The police took her by her arms and escorted her out. Mom, Dad, what's happening? She cried. Sorry, Violet. I'm so sorry, her mother sobbed. We'll see you in a few years. We love you. Stay strong and brave, her father sniffled. She sat in a carriage all day, regretting using magic so much. A few hours later, they had arrived in a forest. Violet stared at what is going to be her home for the next few years. She took a deep breath, cursed the police with bad luck, and walked into the forest. It was dark, cold, wet, and magnificent all at the same time. There was glowing mushrooms, sparkly lakes, long evergreen trees, and enchanted butterflies. This is the place I'm meant to be, she thought. She started giggling and spinning around in circles until she was dizzy. Who's there? A voice yelled. A young man about Violet's age emerged from between two trees. He was tall, handsome, and had dark purple hair and green eyes, just like Violet's. They both aimed their hands at each other, ready to strike. Who are you? Where did you come from? How did you end up in my forest? Asked the boy. Your forest? Whatever. I'm Violet, Violet Harper. I come from a small village in Texas. What's your name? Violet said. I'm Adam. Adam Harper, king of this forest. Whoa, your last name is Harper too? What a coincidence. Violet laughed. I don't think it's a coincidence. Never mind. What brought you here, Violet Harper? Violet sighed, then told him the story about how she has powers, how her parents grounded her, and how she used it in secret, and on and on. Wow. Wow, Violet, Adam muttered. I know. It's so chaotic. But to change the subject, you look awfully a lot like I do. Do you think we're somehow related? Asked Violet. I think so. I also came from a village in Texas. A similar thing happened to me, but I used my powers wisely. I'll have you know that I actually enchanted this forest, bragged Adam. I'll have you know that I enchanted your mouth closed. Clearly it didn't work. They both shared a laugh. So, are you like my cousin or something? Violet questioned. Well, I feel like we look too alike to be cousins. Maybe twins? Said Adam. But then why wouldn't our parents tell me? Violet said to herself and Adam. They both stared at each other with a confused look at their faces, but they both felt immeasurable joy that they weren't the only ones in this forest, and that they had a twin. Come with me, Violet. I'll take you to the cottage I built. They both walked together and talked about their parents and the village. The cottage was a small wooden lodge. Inside, it was cozy, warm, and whimsical. It had a fireplace and a kitchenette. I'll cook dinner. My mom taught me how to make basil soup just last week. Violet made dinner while Adam prepared for Violet's day. They both ate at the small dinner table. Then Adam told Violet about stories about the forest. Tomorrow, I'll teach you archery. For now, get a good night's sleep, said Adam, turning off the lamp. They both woke up that day feeling refreshed and happy. They had breakfast and went to the archery place Adam had built. The next day, Adam taught her how to defend from a bear attack. Every day, they would learn something new together. Eventually, Adam crowned Violet the queen, and he had enchanted her a beautiful flower crown made out of violets that shimmered in the sun. One day, the twins were sitting on the cottage reading books about enchantments when they heard a knock on the door. They opened it, and a teenage girl about 13 years old was drenched and shivering from the rain. The twins took her inside and warmed her up. Her name was Ruby, and she too had superpowers. The twins taught her all kinds of things. Not too long after that, the same thing happened, except this time it was a man in his 20s. The forest was filling up with superhumans like the twins. Soon, Violet and Adam had their own territory of superhumans that held the twins as the king and queen. They set laws and rules about how to use the magic. By now, the twins were in their 30s, making sure the territory was safe. No one was allowed to tell the village that such a thing existed, and everyone lived a magical, happily ever after. And that's the end of the story. I'm sorry this one was a bit short and moved quickly, but hope you enjoyed it.
Well, actually, I really enjoyed it. Can you tell us a few things about the story? Like, what was your inspiration for it?
Um, for me, I don't know. I just sat and thought about a story, and then it just came up.
How
And
long?
it was-
Yeah, yeah, you said something. What was it?
Oh, just sit down and think about it, and the story pops up into my head. That's what always happens.
Mhm. How long did it take you to write that story?
About a week. No, this story. Oh,
Yeah.
um, this story took me 2 days.
2 days, nice. My
It
story is
was
usually,
a
like,
good story. I
just
felt like
about
it
that
kind
long.
of went, but
Yeah, my stories take about that long too. Did you share, like, these stories with anyone outside your family?
just my friends and my teacher. That's that's really it. I'm thinking to publish. I'm definitely gonna publish a story, but just for now, I don't really share it with anyone I don't know.
What was the feedback you got for the story?
This story?
Yeah.
Well, my family supported me and they said it was a good story, so just kept on writing it.
Okay, thank you so much for being here today with us.
No problem.
شكرًا أعزائنا المشاهدين، ونراكم في الحلقة القادمة.